Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. As you probably know, Donald Trump stated that a number of Patriot systems are on their way as we speak towards Ukraine. Well, that tells me that those Patriot systems will be operated by the Americans because I don't think the Ukrainians have already about 80 people as a crew to operate a Patriot system. Therefore, aside from the fact that if you send about, let's say, 5, multiply that by 80, and you find out they need about 400 people trained and ready to go to operate, let's say, 5 Patriot systems. So, nevertheless, this is what they say. We're going to send them. Patriot systems are on their way. They didn't say the number. But the Russians, to be more specific, Sputnik, 3 hours ago, and I'm going to share with you, came out with an article telling us how easy it is to destroy the Patriot systems and tell us their vulnerabilities. So, vulnerabilities of the Patriot systems with drones, Kinzhals, obviously with Iskander missiles, and with Calibre cruise missiles. And they're going to tell us about the dead zone of a Patriot system. Now, if it's so easy, how come the Ukrainians still have them? And then they confirm something I stated many times before, how the Ukrainians/NATO could eventually destroy the Kerch Bridge. Alright, they're gonna flood the system with drones and then they will pinpoint and strike it with an Iskander. So let's start with the article, right? I have only one article for this video. I think it's very revealing. Is it true what the Russians say in this article? I don't know. Why do they say it right now? You don't tell them what you can do and how you do it. You know what I mean? If something works, you don't tell them. Or maybe you tell them and you think they can't change anything anyway. So here is the article from Sputnik. Wants to wipe out Patriot systems? Ask the Russians how. Remember, there's a big fight over there, this according to Sputnik. There's a big fight over there, global fight between the arms manufacturing companies. And one of the biggest industries on this planet is selling weapons. How do you sell weapons? By selling danger, threats, boogeyman. They will attack you, you have to arm yourself, but you have to arm yourself. That's how the Romanians, Ceausescu paid mostly the Romanians' public debt to the international banking system with weapons. Romania was the fourth country in the world selling weapons during the communist times. Fourth. So who could be the first? Obviously the Americans, Soviet Union, and who else? Who else if the Romanians were fourth? Who was the third one? Who could that be? China? No, I don't think China was. Nevertheless, so this probably the French or the Brits or something like that. Nevertheless, let's go back to our ship here. So it's a big business. Bigger than food, bigger than water, weapons. And as I said, weapons, you buy weapons, in this case, when you want to attack or you want to defend yourself. And if there's nobody wanting to attack anybody, that means you're not going to buy weapons. We're all friends, right? Therefore, someone, we don't know who, has to make sure that it's always war. And there is always war somewhere, and there are tensions. So let's read the point by point what the Russians claim they found out during this conflict. All right, so let's read. US-made Patriot air defenses aren't a magic fix for Ukraine. And Russia's arsenal has already exposed their weaknesses, plural. Quote unquote, Patriot is ineffective against hypersonic missiles. And quote, retired Russian Colonel Viktor Litovkin tells Sputnik. Well, is it true? As I said, this is what the Russians say. It's up to you to do some more digging. First point, the Kh-47M2 Kinzhal, a Russian hypersonic missile that reaches speeds up to Mach 10 and ranges of 3,000 kilometers, that's about 2,000 miles, easily destroys Patriots if they find them, right? I said this, the hypersonic is able to strike it, but nevertheless, Iskander-M's single-stage solid fuel-guided missile 9M723 boasts a quasi-ballistic trajectory. With a striking range up to 500 km, it is another effective tool against Patriot systems. Both the Iskander-M and Kinzhal systems demonstrate high precision. That is very true. I know that, I don't want to say for a fact because I tell you too much. Not by hypersonic alone, Geran drones plus Calibre missiles is a killer combo. And this is how the Americans, I thought they will be able to, and the Brits, destroy the Kerch Bridge. By this method, easy method. A swarm of Geran drones forces Patriots to waste missiles. Then, while it's reloading, a cruise missile like a Calibre is fired. That means pam, 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 and then you chick, and by the time you put the next, whatever you do, if you have, these guys are hitting you, boom, with a Calibre, and you're done. Now, Calibre is not a hypersonic missile. Kinzhal is. All right, let's go to Patriot's Achilles heel. Here it is. Ready? Patriot's Achilles heel. Quote unquote, dead zones. That's plural, dead zones. The Patriot has dead zones like up to 100-meter altitude. That is about 110 yards. That is about 330 feet altitude where it can't detect targets, per the same guy. So he says that if you fly lower than 100 meters, you have the chance that Patriot does not detect your incoming whatever you send over there. So drones flying low can evade it. This is exactly how Houthi drones overcome air defenses in the Middle East, and Patriots couldn't stop them. Easy to detect, the Patriot systems. The Patriot system has a radar station that emits radio waves. I think that's imbecilic, but that's the way it is. By detecting these waves, you can determine whether they come from and pinpoint the coordinates of the source. So you find out where it is, pinpoint the coordinates, and then so in this case, reconnaissance is technically quite simple. So that's see what these guys are saying, what the Ukrainians plan to do when they receive more Patriot systems. Now, I am not an expert in Patriot systems whatsoever. Neither I am in Kinzhal's, but it's not hard to understand that these guys fly 10 Mach and up and evade. But nevertheless, my point is, I don't think that it's so easy. Because really it sounds easy. You just emit with the radar's, wavelength, and then you pinpoint, you get the wavelength, you got into them, and then you pinpoint where it is and shoot him down. Well, I can tell you that when the first Patriot systems were delivered, not to the Ukrainians, in Ukraine, in Kiev, when the hell was that? It doesn't really matter. 3 years ago, 2 years and a half ago, 3 years ago. And the first time the Russians attacked Kiev, they struck one. And it's on camera. It starts exploding and all that. And then this guy said, no, nothing hit it, blah, 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 blah. And then they said, well, it's just a scratch. The Americans came to see what happened. They said, it's nothing, it's just a paint, a little bit scratched. It's good to go, actually. But the next day, the Ukrainians banned videotaping the Russian attacks. Just like that. Why? Because it worked. That's why they wanted to lie, basically. No, you didn't hit it, even you didn't hit the Patriot, you didn't destroy it, even though the video clearly shows how you start having all kind of fireworks from your own munition exploding. But hey, so that for me confirmed that Patriot system was struck and damaged. I don't know the extent, but nevertheless. So it must be easy to detect. And I said, once you start shooting from the satellite, this is idiotic. Like, oh, I'm not gonna videotape where it's located. That is, and then immediately transmit. I'm right here. My location is in this area. Kiev is under 24/7 monitoring by the Russian satellites to the point that you can see a little coin on the asphalt, on the ground. It's all mapped out. So they know, I guarantee you the Russians know exactly where the Patriot systems are in Kiev or wherever they shot from. I guarantee you that they map with sensors. Whatever move, whenever shot, in 3 seconds they know exactly where that Patriot system is. Not only by wavelength, by light, by movement, by light. They emit heat, at least. You do it with heat, you know where they shoot from. It's so easy. In the night, when you shoot sometimes, there's the bullets, some of them, after a while, they get hot. You can see the trajectory. Say, no, those are the trajectories. Some of them are, some of them are not. But they're hot. You see where the guy is, right there in that vicinity. And then you go with the satellite pinpoint and you put the coordinates and you're dead in 2 minutes. Because you're not going to move in 2 minutes with all the Patriot garbage around you. With the radars, with the missiles, with all that. And everybody, all right, out, let's go. No, it's not going to be like that. So I think it's very easy. If you can see it, if you can hear it, if you can smell it, if you can touch it, it's going to be destroyable. The Russians too, don't get me wrong. Now, let's go to what the Ukrainians plan to do when they receive the Patriots, more Patriots. Ukraine's layered defense system, or it is already, but they will obviously enhance it. The Kiev regime aims to build a layered system, says Yuri Knutov, a military expert and air defense historian, which would include, and I'm quoting, long-range Patriots, mid-range SAMP-T, short-range NASAM or IRIS-T, the German ones, plus Gepard guns. Who gets protection according to the Russians? Knutov believes that the new Patriot systems will protect Western military plants in Ukraine, not the civilians. The military plants. They also be deployed around Kiev, Kharkov, Odessa, and Lysychansk. Key hubs for weapons. Where are those located? I'm going to show you. Ukrainian troops at the front lines, according to this guy, just cannon fodder. The Patriot is the core, so it must be precisely targeted, he says. So Kiev, Kharkiv, Odessa. Let's go and see on the map where these guys are located. And here is the map of this beautiful country made up of other people's territories mainly. So Kiev obviously here, Kharkov right here, right? And you got Odessa in the south right here. And the other one, I have no idea where it is. I'm thinking must be somewhere in the west by the border with Poland, because they said they're important hubs. But hey, I will look and find out where that exactly it is. What was it? Lysychansk. I have no idea what it is. I'm sorry. All right, just a second. All right, now it's Chornomorsk. So I understand what that is. It's city in Odessa Oblast. I got it. That's why something like small Chornomorsk. I know that right here. Chornomorsk. I know Chorno means black. Morsk, I don't know what it is, but nevertheless. Okay, I have to go back to Russia for some, right here. So Odessa, Chorno, Papap. So these are ports, basically. Pak. All right, but these guys do not receive weapons. They only receive grain, to the grain corridor, remember? Just pur by the weasels in Romania, going to the Bosphorus and Dardanelle, going to the whatever, and then Aegean Sea, Mediterranean, and then to the Atlantic Ocean, and then straight to the Americans. Okay, my friends, this is according to the Russians. I believe that this article that is accurate about 98%. That's how much I believe. Now, it is true that it can't be this easy. It can't be this easy. So that means and besides, when you do something and it works, unless the other person cannot do anything about it, you just say it. I want to punch you in the face each and every time. Bang, oh fuck. Each and every time. Pop, oh fuck. But no, he can't block it because he can't see it. As Bruce Lee said it. If you can't see it, you can't block it. So the same with Kinzals. If you can see it, you cannot block it. The problem is just cover up and look around, shoot from undercover. That's all you can do. Because the Kinzals, you cannot defend them. That's the only one. The one with the swarming with the drones and then with Iskander M or with Caliber. I believe that too. But I don't think it's so easy though. But I believe in those things, that it could be that easy, in a way that those techniques work. And probably there are some other techniques that obviously the retired, whatever he was, will not disclose, or maybe doesn't even know. But why would you say? If it works, unless you know the other side cannot defend itself from that attack. So here it is. Send more Patriots. You know how much a Patriot battery is? I think $1 billion, isn't that something like that? $1 billion, isn't it? Close to? Maybe it's just in my imagination, but something like that. And it's operated by about what? A crew of about 90 people. And HIMARS the same way. That had to be highly trained and coordinated with the satellite, with American satellites, mind you, coordinated, and they will be operated by the Americans, not by the Ukrainians. And the order is given by what? The HIMARS order. That's all the Americans said. We don't just give the approval for the Ukrainians to use HIMARS. They do everything. They do everything. We just tell them, yes, no, yes and no. Bull fucking shit. Okay? I don't believe that at all. For the reason why? The operators of those things could just take the thing and take it to the Russians. That's all. You can't have that. You can. And in order to be an expert on this kind of batteries, I'm assuming, as the baboon as I am, that you need years of training. And you don't give a Patriot system or to the newly trained Ukrainian soldiers to operate it. And it blows up. My bad. Another one. Maybe it is like that, but I doubt it. I doubt this. Thank you very much for being with me again today. In the meantime, remember, a lot of secrets could be passed on to the Russians by guys hired to operate them, Ukrainians, you know what I mean? And the commands are all in English. Are they going to put little stickers like in the tanks that he found, supposedly? With Russian, Cyrillic alphabet versus the... Anyway, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.